continued to suggest that a Pacquiao-Mario Barrios welterweight title fight was possible. Bob Santos, the trainer for Mario Barrios, has said recently that he believes
36-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That's according to an ESPN report. Pacquiao last fought in 2021 when he lost to Yordenis Ugas. Barrios won the WBC welterweight title from Ugas in 2023.
There are two questions that have the entire boxing world scratching their heads and leaning in. First, should Manny Pacquiao even be stepping back into the ring? Second, can he actually beat Mario Barrios?
So now Mario Barrios is the WBC champion, so who is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. That's a tremendous fight. It was released, PBC. Manny Pacquiao first title was the flyweight WBC, and he wants to retire as WBC champion, so he's fighting in the welterweight division.
This isn't just a comeback, it's a full-on spectacle. Pacquiao, once the blinding whirlwind of 8 weight classes, is now a 45-year-old legend chasing one more shot at glory.
Manny Pacquiao getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it definitely has to do with money, one. Two, I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't.
Meanwhile, Barrios, fresh-legged and riding momentum, isn't planning on being anyone's stepping stone. This showdown isn't just about fists and belts. It's about legacy, pride, and whether time waits for anyone in the fight game.
Who is not so happily retired, seems to still be antsy about fighting. I was at the Andy Ruiz workout in LA this past week, and Sean Gibbons was there representing Isaac Cruz and part of that contingent.
Manny Pacquiao's return is the kind of plot twist you expect from a Rocky movie, except this time, it's real life. After bowing out in 2021 following a humbling defeat at the hands of Yordenis Ugas, many assumed the Pac-Man had thrown his last punch. But no, here he comes again, all leather and lightning, setting his eyes on Mario Barrios and that WBC welterweight strap. It's the kind of move that makes you question reality. Pacquiao's last fight saw him slower, more labored, a shadow of the phenomenon who blitzed legends. But you don't become a legend by listening to doubt, do you? Barrios, meanwhile, isn't coming to play mascot to a farewell tour. He's hungry. He's dangerous. He's got youth in his corner and a jab that's as sharp as an insult from Mike Tyson. And when it comes to momentum, Barrios has it in spades. He's not just active, he's active and improving. While Pacquiao was attending political rallies and retirement dinners, Barrios was grinding in gyms and clocking rounds like rent was due. It's the classic setup, old lion versus young killer, except this time, the lion might not have enough bite left.
Has said recently that he believes it was going to happen. What do you think of your old foil there, Manny Pacquiao, getting back in the ring again for a world title fight?
Well, obviously, you know, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money.
Eddie Hearn, a seasoned eye in the game, didn't mince words. He admitted Pacquiao could still beat fighters ranked outside the top 20, but that wasn't exactly a glowing endorsement. It was more like saying, your grandpa can still drive as long as it's not on the freeway. That's what makes this match controversial. Pacquiao isn't facing a washed-up contender, he's challenging a legitimate belt holder. A man who's been in the trenches recently, not someone dragging old bones into the spotlight. Fans are torn. Half of them are cheering like it's 2008 all over again, posters of Pacquiao back on their bedroom walls. The other half are groaning, worried that this will end with a stretcher instead of a celebration. It's hard to blame either camp. After all, Pacquiao has defied expectations his entire career. In the end, the punches land harder, the feet move slower, and recovery isn't measured in minutes anymore, it's weeks.
62-8-2 with 39 knockouts, Barrios 29-2-1. And for more, welcome CBS Sports combat analyst Brian Campbell. Manny Pacquiao, the first and only 8-division world champion. He'll be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next month. And then in July, BC is going to come out of retirement. Why now?
By the way, between those two dates, I believe he has an election coming up for a Senate position in the Philippines. So we always know that Mandy.
Yet here we are, staring at a fight that feels more like a crossover episode between two boxing eras. Barrios has everything to gain and very little to lose. A win over Pacquiao rockets his name into the stars. A loss? He gets to say he shared the ring with a living legend, and that's still a PR win. But for Pacquiao, it's all or nothing. Every jab he takes is another echo of his past, another reminder that legacies can either be crowned or crumbled in one bad round. Some boxing legends have stepped forward with their takes, and let's just say, they're not all singing Kumbaya around the Pacquiao campfire. Trainer Greg Hackett pulled no punches, calling this bout a money fight. To him, it's not about honor, it's about paychecks. The timing, the opponent, the hype, it all screams financial incentive over sporting integrity. But let's be real, when has boxing ever been just about the sport? Promoters are salivating. Pay-per-view numbers are expected to explode. And the world? It's watching again. Hackett also painted a clear picture of what this fight really is, a strategic move, not a reckless charge into battle. If Pacquiao wanted to go out guns blazing, he could have called out Crawford or Boots. But Barrios? That's a calculated risk. Still a challenge. Still credible. But not so lethal that Pacquiao ends up a meme. It's the sweet spot, enough danger to sell tickets, enough hope to keep dreams alive.
I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous.
Tim Bradley wasn't far behind, echoing the chorus of skepticism. The version, he claims, is far from that. Bradley believes the comeback is motivated by dollars more than glory, and honestly, it's hard to argue when you see a retired icon being handed a title shot with no warm-up. Who gets that kind of treatment unless money's behind the scenes pulling the strings? Barrios isn't blind to the setup either. He knows this is a golden opportunity. He's the young wolf invited to the king's table. But unlike others before him, he's not there to pay respect, he's there to take the crown. Every interview, every sparring session, every bead of sweat is driven by one goal, to beat the legend. And not just beat him, make it convincing. Pacquiao, for all his greatness, now finds himself walking a tightrope between history and humility. If he wins, it's a fairy tale. A new belt. A standing ovation. One last piece of jewelry for an already cluttered legacy. But if he loses, that's the danger. Not just the loss, but the way it might happen. A decision loss? Fine. But a knockout? That's career-ending. That's legacy-altering. And boxing fans have long memories in short forgiveness.
Combat analyst Brian Campbell, Manny Pacquiao, the first and only 8-division world champion. He'll be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next month. And then in July, BC is going to come out of retirement. Why now?
By the way, between those two dates, I believe he has an election coming up for a Senate position in the Philippines. So we always know that Manny is a busy man. He gets after it. He also dares to be great.
What makes this fight so deliciously controversial is the fact that both fighters represent something deeper. Barrios symbolizes the future, he's modern, scientific, measured. Pacquiao? He's old school, heart, hustle, and hand speed. This isn't just about age. It's about two generations clashing under the same lights, one trying to ascend, the other refusing to fade. And here's the punchline that boxing's elite can't ignore: Pacquiao, even now with arthritis tapping on his gloves, still has the kind of awkward, unorthodox style that makes younger fighters uncomfortable. He lunges when he shouldn't. He throws from strange angles. He does things no textbook teaches. And that unpredictability? It's still dangerous. Ask Keith Thurman how washed up Pacquiao looked in 2019. Spoiler, he was on the canvas wondering what hit him. Yet 2019 was 6 long years ago. Boxing years are like dog years, brutal, fast, and merciless. Every second away from the ring adds miles to your chin. Every missed punch in training is a landed punch in the fight. And Barrios has been running marathons while Pacquiao has been making speeches. The ring is not forgiving. Even so, there's an aura around Manny. You don't just step in with him and expect an easy night. Legends come with magic. Sometimes that magic dies early. Sometimes it surprises everyone one more time. But you can never count them out. Which is why Barrios will have to be perfect. No slip-ups. No showboating. No underestimating. Because if Pacquiao catches him early, the script could flip fast.
This is wild news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this had been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years, at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion in Mario Barrios?
And now, the media circus is in full swing. Commentators, podcasters, and ex-champions who haven't stepped foot in a ring since flip phones were cool are crawling out with opinions hotter than a freshly wrapped hand. It's Pacquiao this, Barrios that. The storyline has ignited a wildfire of wild takes. Some claim Manny still has the hand speed of a hummingbird on caffeine, while others think he'd lose a foot race to a tortoise with a limp. This isn't just a boxing match, it's an identity crisis for the sport. Is boxing a noble competition of skill and youth? Or is it a nostalgia-soaked pay-per-view cash grab masquerading as high-stakes combat? You can almost hear the old-timers grumbling, back in my day, we didn't need to sell drama to sell fights. But let's not pretend boxing hasn't always had one foot in the theater. This Pacquiao-Barrios affair is Shakespeare in gloves, a comeback tale so unlikely you half expect Sylvester Stallone to be shadowboxing in the background. Look around, Vegas is already licking its lips. The lights. The crowd. The celebrities who wouldn't know a jab from a low-carb diet all will be there. And that's part of the charm. Boxing is more than fists and fury, it's a show. A spectacle. And Manny's name still brings in the crowd like Elvis showing up at a karaoke bar. You don't need to know his stats, just his legend.
But again, what they say, the last thing that leaves is the power. If Manny got any of that power still left in him, if he lands that left hand, he can hurt the young gun. So, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, I actually think he can beat Barrios. Like maybe it's recency bias. I saw that fight. That Barrios Fabian Maidana fight that was on the Canelo undercard.
Yeah.
I wasn't all that impressed.
Meanwhile, Barrios steps into the ring not as a participant in a fairy tale, but as the spoiler. Young, hungry, and completely unbothered by sentiment, he's here to dismantle the legend, not honor it. For Barrios, this isn't about respecting legacy. It's about proving he belongs. Beating Pacquiao doesn't just win him a title, it catapults him from the ESPN sidebar to the main event spotlight. Overnight, he goes from rising talent to household name. And yet, what captivates the world isn't just Barrios' ambition, it's Pacquiao's reckless courage. He's not tiptoeing into retirement with golf clubs and a pension plan. He's taping his hands, brushing the cobwebs off his footwork, and staring down a fighter who was still in grade school when Manny first held a world title. This isn't a retirement party, it's a war declaration. Because only a true warrior signs up for this kind of madness. And let's be honest, madness is the lifeblood of boxing. But beneath the spectacle and the sweat lies something more fragile, fear. Not for the man, but for the myth. Pacquiao built his empire on speed, angles, and controlled chaos. Now, his reflexes are a half second behind, his legs a bit heavier, and the canvas? It's more merciless than ever. The heart may never age, but the body absolutely does. And Barrios isn't coming to pay homage, he's coming to punch holes through a legacy. That's the sobering truth fans are grappling with. This fairy tale might not end in glory, it might end in a hospital.
To say the least, it's a pay-per-view main event, reportedly for July 19th. And we know Manny Pacquiao has always brought big business, but now he's going to bring it in more of the late career George Foreman type of way to etch himself into that record book even further. Can Manny do it? I mean, look, the odds are certainly against him.
And then, of course, come the conspiracy theories. Oh, they've got charts, diagrams, entire threads dedicated to decoding the real story behind this fight. Some are convinced the WBC orchestrated this bout as a distraction, a flashy detour to cover up some larger agenda. Maybe they're right. Maybe Barrios was handpicked, dangerous enough to sell the fight, but beatable enough to ensure the dream doesn't die. Or maybe, just maybe, this is chapter 1 of a full-blown comeback tour. Maybe Pacquiao's got his eye on one last super fight against anyone with a belt and functioning knees. Welcome to boxing, part sport, part soap opera. And the internet? It's ablaze with fantasy matchups and speculation. Some say Pacquiao is using this bout as a springboard for a political comeback. Others believe it's a setup for a final cash grab against Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. One Redditor even theorized this is all part of a secret documentary project, and this fight? Just content. That's the digital age for you. Every punch is a promo, every jab a potential teaser trailer. Pacquiao posts a 20-second clip of him hitting mitts and half the internet loses its mind. He's back, they scream, as if 6 punches on video can turn back the biological clock. Forget sports science. Forget time. As long as Pacquiao can throw 5-punch combinations, some fans will believe he's immortal. But myths don't hit back. And the only thing faster than Pacquiao's hands right now are the doubts chasing them.
But there's one thing about certain legends in this game. Think Bernard Hopkins, who fought into a very late age. Some of them, as long as they can physically get themselves into that ring, sometimes they can reproduce magic for one night. So it's a romantic situation. I got cats walking around.
Yep.
People are excited to see the Pac-Man back. You just got to kind of figure out, is this for real? Is he going to be for real? Or are we going to send him into a physical, violent retirement?
Yeah, Reggie's a big Manny Pacquiao fan. He loves him because he knows about Father Time, because Father Time is...
As for Barrios, he's been eerily quiet. Too quiet, some say. Is it hyperfocus? Or hidden fear? Is he locked away in some remote gym, training like a possessed man surrounded by silence and sandbags? Or is the weight of the moment starting to settle in, the gravity of facing a myth made flesh? One thing's certain, this isn't just another date on the fight calendar. It's a collision with history. A trial not just of skill, but of mental steel. Because history? It doesn't care about your win streak. And boxing legends don't always age like fine wine, sometimes they sour, fast. For every George Foreman fairy tale, there's a Roy Jones Jr. cautionary tale. And that's the razor's edge Pacquiao is dancing on. Half the fans cheer from the heart. The other half wince with their brains. Still, there's something undeniably poetic about it all. From rice fields in the Philippines to the presidential palace, Pacquiao has never taken the safe route. Maybe this, too, is a final act of rebellion. Staring down youth with nothing but nerve, nostalgia, and a defiant left hook. And maybe, just maybe, that's still enough.
Right, we got him at 10-0, and that's a blessing in and of itself. 10-0, 8 knockouts. Just signed that nice deal with Turkey as the ring ambassador. So we're well on our way, and tonight's another step in the right direction, and we got to take care of business tonight.
So we're going to be seeing him on some ring cards in the future.
Oh, definitely, but we got to take care of business tonight. You know, we can't catch the chickens before they're hatched, so we got to take care of business tonight. And this is heavyweights, and we all know with heavyweights, one punch can change anything.
Even if Barrios wins, he walks a dangerous tightrope. Win too decisively? And you're the villain who destroyed a living legend. Lose? And you're the young gun who got outsmarted by a 46-year-old icon. It's a PR minefield. Because boxing doesn't deal in perfect endings, only complex ones. And that's exactly what makes this fight so compelling. Pacquiao isn't chasing legacy. He has legacy. He's doing this because that's what fighters do. It's not about reason, it's about compulsion. An addiction. That whisper in the back of the brain, you've still got it. Maybe that whisper lies. Maybe it speaks the truth. Either way, on fight night, the world will be watching. Analysts will analyze. Trainers will squint. Fans will scream. Some watching for a miracle. Some watching for closure. Some just to see if time can be knocked out one last time. Pacquiao's chin might not be what it once was, but his name still lands harder than most right hooks.
For anybody in the welterweight division, and for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, you know, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. You know, that Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into retirement once again.
This isn't just a boxing match. It's a moment. A monument. A cultural artifact. Because in boxing, nothing is ever truly over. Fighters retire, but they don't leave. Their ghosts haunt gyms, gloves, and broadcast booths until, inevitably, they lace up one last time. And when they do, we watch. In the lead up to this fight, gyms are buzzing, reporters are yelling, barbershop debates are reaching fever pitch. The old heads claim Manny still has the fire. The new generation calls it a cash grab. And the promoters? They're grinning like lottery winners. This is boxing's sweet spot, a fight soaked in drama, history, and sky-high stakes. The kind of bout where oxygen feels thin and every breath comes with tension. And now, the table is set. Legends have spoken. Fans have chosen their sides. There's only one thing left. That first bell. When it rings, all the talk, all the theories, all the jokes, they'll vanish under the sound of leather slapping bone. So whether you're Team Pacquiao or Team Barrios, get your popcorn ready. Because this isn't just another fight, it's the end of one era colliding with the birth of another. In that sacred, savage space between past and future, fists will fly, stories will be written, and history will cast its final vote.
Oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement and beat an unbeaten Keith Thurman for the welterweight title at the age of 40. There's very few greats that you can call all-time greats, and I think sometimes even above that category, there's that upper room. Is Manny Pacquiao one of those in boxing history? Sure. But let's look at a couple things. The last thing to go is power, yes. Manny was also absurdly fast in his prime. So like a Roy Jones Jr. who hung on.
If you've made it this far and love this kind of breakdown, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment below. Who takes it, Pacquiao, the eternal warrior? Or Barrios, the young lion on the rise? Stay tuned. This one's going to be unforgettable.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.